Okay, this is what your Xello screen looks like when you log in. You should see your name on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you're going to see some quick links. Most of these are to your assessments that you took in middle school. There are some, however, that you take later. For example, this skills lab doesn't get taken until 11th grade. In the middle, you're going to notice some videos and some articles. These are all customized specifically to you. So it looks at the skills that you've saved, the interests that you've saved, the careers that you've saved, and it will generate a list of things based on what you've been doing. So if you've been working in the program for half an hour and you come back here, these will change. They'll add more to it. So I highly recommend that when you have some extra time, you take a look at some of these videos and articles because they are tailored to the things that you are interested in. On the left-hand side, we have the lesson section. I want to show you that really quickly because you do have to do some lessons in Xello. And so I'm going to click on View Lessons. You'll notice that mine are all grayed out because I haven't done any yet. When you do them, when you finish them, they light up in color, and then they also say 100%. Everyone is required to do the Begin with your EDP lesson. You're going to see a green check mark next to that when you're done with it. Same thing with Complete your EDP. You'll see a green check mark. I do want to show you this area up here where it says 0% all lessons. Do not get confused with that. You do not have to have 100% of all Xello lessons complete. That would mean you've done every single lesson in Xello. There are lots of them, so you do not have to do all of them. You're only required to do a few at each grade level. So everyone does begin with your EDP and complete your EDP. And then there's one or two more that you're required at your grade level. And your Future Focus Day lessons and slideshow will show you which of those you need to do. Up here at the top, we have About Me. That's where most of your work gets done. So we're going to click on that. Here you'll see your career matches. You should see at least 3 excellent matches in your list, and you should be interested in those careers. If you look at those and you're like, I don't like any of those, then chances are when you took your assessment, you weren't really being very thoughtful. You kind of blew through it. So I would highly recommend that you redo those assessments. It only takes about 15 minutes, and you can get to it right here with these 3 dots and hit Reset Matchmaker. That will allow you to take the 3 assessments that generate these career matches, and you want careers that you're interested in, right? You want to get results that actually match what you're thinking. So I would highly recommend that you do that if necessary. Down below here are some of the other assessments that you've taken in middle school. Again, the skills lab is taken in 11th grade, so it'll be grayed out for you until you take it in 11th grade. This big black box is really helpful for you. This is the experience box. And I would highly recommend that you keep track of all of your experiences while you're in high school. Your work experience, volunteer experience, education, and life. So in work experience, obviously, if you have a job, you can put it in there. Volunteer experience, especially for those of you who are in NHS, if you need volunteer hours, this is a great place to keep track of it. The hardest part is remembering like what you did when, right? So you can keep track of all of that in Xello and then just look at it when you need to turn that in. Education would be things like CTE certifications. So if you're in a CTE class and you're getting certifications, you could add those there. And then life would be things like awards that you've won or certificates that you've gotten. So you're going to keep track of all of that in here. And then when you go to create a resume, Xello can actually populate a resume for you with the click of a button. So you click a button, you put in your name, and boom, it generates this resume that has all of that stuff in there. The hardest part about doing a resume is remembering when you did stuff. And so this helps you to keep track of that. So I highly recommend that you add these things as you do them. You can even get to Xello on your phone. You just type in bit.ly/XelloASD, and you can put that stuff in there so that you're keeping track of it as you go. Below that, we have skills and interests. Of course, those will get updated every year. You change your interests, your skill levels increase, and you can add stars to these as you go. So you're going to want to keep those up to date. And then down at the bottom, we have the portfolio section. This is where you can add things to your digital portfolio, any work that you're proud of. So it could be photos of artwork, it could be creative writing samples, it could be math or science projects. Anything like that that you're proud of, you can put in here. And eventually, when you're ready, you can share your portfolio with an employer or with a college application center. So you can share these things to show people the kind of work that you've done. The next section I want to show you up here is plans. This is where you're going to set your personal goals. So on our first session, when you do your SMART goals, these are the personal goals that you need to add. So if it's not letting you finish or begin with your EDP lesson, that's because you haven't added these goals. You might have added them over here in plans, but it's actually in the personal goals that you have to add them. So make sure that you're adding all of your SMART goals here. And if you want to get back to the dashboard, you can either click on Home or you can click on the Xello logo over here on the left, and that takes you right back to your dashboard. So it's really easy to get to things. That's Xello.